Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
A new era has begun, says my director, Pitar. It's a new era, a new day, a new time, a new format for Warzone Live. Still the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit earlier in the day. Now at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Right now, live. It's Wayne live on Monday. What is today? I think the 8th of June, right? Today is the 8th of June? Yes, it's not Memorex. It's me on the 8th of June. Not only is it live, not only does it start on the hour, instead of 6 minutes into the hour, which drove a lot of people crazy. But a lot of people complained, Wayne is fantastic, but there's too many ads. Well, now I'm speaking 54 minutes out of the next 60 minutes. We've condensed it from a 2-hour podcast with lots of ads to a 1-hour podcast with very few ads. And so it's all Wayne, right? It's 54 minutes of Wayne speaking. I got to get used to this, by the way. 54 minutes of Wayne speaking, very few breaks. I used to get breaks from my voice, because it's a lot of speaking when you use the intensity, the passion, and the energy, and the high voice that I do. A lot of root rants, and suddenly my voice is gone, and I get like 3, 4, 5 minutes to rest it, and then we come back, and then I get 3, 4, 5 minutes to rest it. I don't get that anymore. This show is starting on the top of the hour. It's an earlier start time, and it goes pretty much straight through with very few ads. So it's a whole new era and a whole new world for Warzone Live, still the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. Gateway Pundit is the 5th most popular conservative news site in the good old United States of America, which makes it 5th in the world, because there are no bigger conservative news sites in the world than the 5 biggest in America, which the only ones in front of us, Fox News and Wall Street Journal and Breitbart and what's the other one? I can't even remember the other one. There's one more big one. Oh, New York Post. New York Post. So those 4 are in front of Gateway, and that's it. So we're number 5, and with a bullet and moving up against the big boys. And this is the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. Great to be with you. And don't forget, the Gateway Pundit is over 1 billion page views for the 2nd year in a row. So now this will be the 3rd year in a row when this year is up with over 1 billion page views, and I'm sure it'll be even higher. So it might be 1.5 billion page views. Let's talk about what's going on in California. Let me find my tweet that I'll start the whole show, because I think it's very important to hear this tweet. So this is what I put out yesterday. I told you so, because this is right when Spencer Pratt moved to 3rd place, right? The socialist is in 2nd place now. And then, of course, or I should say the communist is in 2nd place. And the socialist, Karen Bass, is in 1st place. And they're not even bothering to hide it anymore. They're just stealing it outright. This is what happens when you have a one-party state. They don't have any shame. They don't care. They're stealing it outright. They've got, homeless people voting and you name it. So I told you so. I predicted the communists who run L.A. could never allow Spencer Pratt to become mayor, because he would look under the hood and see all the corruption and stolen elections and taxpayer money all in the pockets of Democrat politicians and donors. The whole country would be in shock if they saw how Democrats loot a city. All the money is stolen. No Republican can ever be allowed to see the truth. No Republican can ever be allowed to see the truth. And one more. Dems laughing in our faces. What's going on in California is pure treason. These scumbags rig and steal elections all over the USA with the same methods. Illegal aliens voting, dead people voting, homeless people paid to vote, and millions of fake mail-in ballots with no voter ID. Dems are the new mafia. This is organized crime. If we allow this, America is finished. These are typical communist thieves. Who votes doesn't matter. Who counts the votes matter in a communist society. Start indicting these scumbag criminal traitors. They're stealing our nation, and now everyone can see it. And if we don't, I guarantee you, civil war is coming. And that's how I feel. I know that's how they feel. I know they want civil war. They're dying for it. This is probably part of it. They're egging us on. They want civil war. They want Trump to call in the National Guard, Trump's National Guard troops and ICE troops to shoot them down dead in the streets, and then they get to scream, we're the bad guys, we're horrible. You know what this is? I don't think people see this. It's what I've been saying all along. You find me someone who is anti-Jewish and anti-Israel, and I'll find you someone who's a communist, liberal, progressive, socialist, Marxist. They go hand in hand. And that's why you'd be a fool to listen to Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens or Marjorie Taylor Greene or all the other litany of crazy libertarian-style hosts who have now turned against Israel. Because they pulled a scam with Israel, and they want to pull the same scam in the United States. They all copy each other, right? Communists all copy each other. Stealing elections is a communist strategy. It always has been. Once they win, you can never get them out without killing them, right? That's the history of the world. I'm not saying to kill anybody. I'm not saying a word. I'm just telling you, in the history of the world, there's no way to get communists out without killing them. Ask Petar about Yugoslavia. Until they murdered the president, hunted him down in the street, murdered him right in a hole in the street. What about Gaddafi? They murdered him. Saddam Hussein, well, we hung Saddam Hussein, but he was living in a hole for a while before we hung him. There's no other way to get rid of these people except some sort of revolution, civil war, and war between the people. And so once a communist is in, you can never get rid of them because they steal elections. But the other thing they do, and this is a MO of communism, because Muslims are all communists, and if you look at Israel and Gaza and Hamas, what you see is Israel fights back the same way America's always fought back, or Britain's fought back, or Australia's fought back, or any good country fights back. If you attack us and kill our people, we're going to kill you. That's how you fight a war. But they've tried to turn that into, we're committing genocide. Israel and the Jews are committing genocide. Folks, it's a war like any other war in the world, and there are unintended civilian casualties, but mostly not unintended because Muslims are the biggest scumbags in the world, and the Muslims of Hamas are the biggest scumbags of the scumbags. And what they do is they love civilian casualties, and the more children and babies that die, the happier they are because they can then prove, look, Israel kills babies and women and children. It's genocide. The world must take our side. And that's the exact game plan that the liberals in America are looking for. They want to instigate a showdown and let America's troops, whether it be National Guard, military in the street, ICE agents, police officers, whatever it may be, they want them to shoot down Democrats like dogs in the street and kill them, preferably women. Shoot them and kill them, and then show the body bags on the ground and blame Trump. They're dying for that to happen. They want to copy the exact strategy of Hamas. And that's why I get so mad at all the Jew haters in the Republican Party who follow the Tucker Carlsons, although I have no fear anyone's following him anymore, because I think that he's a madman and a nut job, and every time I write something about him, 90% of the comments, 10% say, Wayne, you're terrible, Wayne, I hate you, Wayne, I won't follow you anymore, 90% say, Wayne, I love you, and I would never follow Tucker again. So I believe Tucker's lost most of his audience, because he's absolutely crazy. He hates Israel, he hates America, and he says America's a bunch of baby killers, and America's a bunch of rapists. Our soldiers are going to rape women in the streets in Iran. And he says that Trump may be the Antichrist. Well, it sounds to me like Tucker's the Antichrist. And he's doing the bidding of the Antichrist and the devil, which has to be Obama. He never mentioned Obama being the Antichrist ever. Suddenly Trump's the Antichrist. Yeah, okay. The Antichrist, right. Obama's the Antichrist. I'm going to write that column in the next 2 weeks. All the things that prove that Obama is the Antichrist. But Tucker is the agent of the Antichrist. So I don't think anyone's listening to Tucker anymore. I think, he's lost his audience. Candace has a big audience, but I think they're all Jew haters. It's an entire audience of Jew haters around the world. So I just want to point out to you people that think that Israel's the bad guy. You've been swallowing a scam, hook, line, and sinker. The scam is every country in the world fights back when attacked, and when they do, civilians die. Do you know how many civilians died in World War II? I think about 50 million. 50 million civilians died. So Israel fights back, and of course, where do they put Hamas's headquarters and their shooters and their terrorists? Right in the middle of churches and schools and mosques and anywhere that will get civilians killed because they hold them as hostages. They're civilian hostages meant to die so they can blame Israel. And that's exactly what the left wants to do in the United States. In any case, back to my original point, which is California has been stolen. And it's been stolen right in front of our very eyes. Trump goes off on rigged California election. He says, not possible. Third world nation rigged elections. Of course. This is exactly like 2020. Exactly. You have the lead, or you're certainly in Spencer Pratt's case. I don't know if he would have had the lead or not, but he certainly was in second place and was easily in the runoff for November. I don't believe they ever would have let him win in November, as I said in my tweet, because just like they're not going to let Steve Hilton win in November. So all of us got our hopes up for nothing, because Pratt was never going to win. Hilton's never going to win. Hilton will be in the runoff. I don't think they can take that away from him. I don't think. Doesn't look like it, although there's enough votes left outstanding. You never know with these people. They have no shame. But you know what's amazing? They didn't have to do this, right? They were going to beat Spencer Pratt anyway, just like they're going to beat Hilton anyway. Let him be in the runoff. He's got no chance. When you add up all the Democrats and then you add Hilton's vote to Chad Bianco, the sheriff's vote, Hilton loses like 55-35. Same thing with Spencer Pratt. He was never going to win. When you add the socialists and the communists together and all the other little minor candidates, it was going to be a loss of like 55-35. Spencer Pratt was never going to get over 35% of the vote. So he had no chance to win, so you might as well let him go through to the finals. Who cares? But they can't help themselves. They're kind of like my dog, Bubba. Right? Bubba knows I'm going to yell at him and punish him because he does something, and he doesn't care. He's looking right at me, and he does it because he can't help himself. Democrats are like Bubba, and let's face it, dogs are Democrats. How do I know that? Because dogs are dependent on you for the rest of their lives. Dogs need you to feed them. They need you to clean them. They need you to clean their messes. They need you to take them to the vet anytime there's medical. You got to drive them. You got to pay for it. You got to pay for their toys. You got to pay for their mistakes. If they bite someone, your insurance company or you are on the hook for a $100,000 bill. Dogs are the ultimate socialists, Democrats. So Democrats are just like my dog Bubba. They can't help themselves. They could have let him, Spencer Pratt, go through to the finals, and he would have lost to Karen Bass. But no, they couldn't do that. They couldn't take even the slightest chance, because look what Trump pulled off 3 times. They didn't think Trump could win the first time against Hillary. They didn't think he'd win the second time after COVID and the disastrous economy from COVID, right? But Trump did win. We all know he won again. And then they didn't think he'd win the third time, and he won again. They didn't think he'd beat Biden. Then when Biden was forced to drop out, they didn't think he'd beat Kamala. And he beat them all 3 times. So I guess they were scared that Spencer, even if there's only a 1 in 1,000 chance of winning, if he took that chance and won, if a miracle came through, because you never know, by the way. What if between now and the election something horrible comes out about Karen Bass? Well, that's okay. Now they got the socialist will be gone. She'll drop out and the communist becomes the mayor. They can't lose. They got the socialist or the communist. But if they left Spencer in, you never know. You just never know. So they couldn't take that chance because they're so corrupt and they've stolen so much money. They can't take a chance. So they had to rig it. They have no shame. They rigged it right in front of us all. Spencer was clearly in second, and they took it away from him. Spencer Pratt calls out glaring confidence in Nithya, how do you pronounce that? Nithya Raman's. This is the thing about America. Can't you all Americanize your names? What is the matter with you? Do you realize at Ellis Island, my family's name was Rootsky? Do you ever hear me say I'm Wayne Rootsky? No, I'm Wayne Root. It was Wayne Root long before I was born, but that's besides the point. If it had been Rootski at birth, trust me, I would have changed my name to Wayne Root. Wayne Allen Root, simple. Why do you have to be Nithya Ramen? I think that's something you eat. Isn't that some sort of Asian food or Indian food? Ramen. Nithya Ramen. What kind of a name is that? That's a problem with our country. You can come here and you should Americanize your name and be American and speak English and vote in English and stop having stupid names that no one can pronounce. Spencer Pratt calls out glaring coincidence in Nithya Ramen's 43,000 vote swing 5 days after Election Day. He says, where have I seen that number before, right? I mean, it's obviously he's referring to, I would assume, Trump, right? She was trailing Pratt by 40,000 votes at election night, but then mail-in ballots were inserted. Nobody thought it was possible. She didn't even think it was possible. She broke down in tears on election night with an emotional retirement speech at her election night watch party. Multiple outlets described it as a concession speech, but as Spencer Pratt points out, anything is possible when you game the system. And Rahman had a net swing of 43,000 votes since Tuesday as the rigged vote counting continued through last week and weekend. And Spencer Pratt highlighted the stunning similarity in the number of votes Pratt gained and Los Angeles homeless population in 2025. Oh, so he's not talking about the 2020 election. He says 43,000, huh? Where have I seen that number before? Sharing from the website Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, the lead agency in homelessness services in Los Angeles. They've got 43,699 people in a homeless situation on any given night on the streets of Los Angeles, and now a net swing of 43,000 votes. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Listen, I told you, it's illegal aliens, it's homeless votes, it's dead people voting, and it's voter ID with mail-in ballots with no voter ID of any kind. That's how they steal elections. It's very clear, and I called it so long ago. I'm not a backseat driver. Gosh, I won the debate 3,000-0. The audience voted at Freedom Fest. I won the debate literally 3,000-0. I had some idiot from New York, some election expert from New York, and I debated him like 3 years ago. And I said Trump lost the election because of illegal alien votes in places like Nevada and Arizona, and he didn't know what to say, and the audience voted me the winner. That was a long time ago. You're giving me a count, but we don't have to do that count, right? We can kind of go out when we want to, right? All right, so just give me a second here because I want to make sure that I thank VRA. I talked so much I didn't thank VRA. I talked for 18 minutes without thanking the sponsor who signs the front of the checks. So after 15 years on Wall Street at the highest levels in 2003, Kip Herridge founded VRA, his global investment and economic newsletter. And since then, his top-performing recommendations have beaten the market almost 90% of the time, 19 out of 22 years. I'm hopeful this year will be 20 out of 23 years, and they'll be at 90%. And that's not just beating the market, but he usually beats it by a mile. His top recommendations, called 10 baggers, were up 35.7% last year and an average of up 38% each year over the last 3 years. Remarkable performance and remarkable consistency. Whoever heard of being up an average 35.7 last year and an average of 38, 38, and 38 the last 3 years? Have you ever been up 38% a year ever? Once? Let alone 3 years in a row? And Barron's reports the average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90% of the time. So Kip's amazing. He recommended gold at 315-ounce, Bitcoin at 2,000. He's really that good. His portfolio is up when the market's up, and it's up when the market's down. It's up when the economy's good. It's up when the economy's down. Join now at VRAinsider.com, 2 weeks free. Every one of my fans automatically gets 2 weeks free. Read the newsletter every morning. And there's only two choices. You're either going to decide to stay for life because you'll never get an education like this ever again, and you'll never make money like this ever again, in my opinion, or you're an idiot. You really would have to be an idiot to read his newsletter every morning and not decide to join for a very small fee. So get a free 2-week membership at VRAinsider.com and get his free book, The Big Bribe, as well, too. It's a bestseller, and it's for free. VRAinsider.com. Only Wayne Root fans know about that address. Free for 2 weeks, and you will decide to stay for life because you've never made money like this before. I can tell you for 23 years I've done it. All right, Wayne Allen Root, this is Warzone Live, the official podcast, The Gateway Pundit. RootForAmerica.com is my website. Everything's there, my TV shows, my podcasts, everything. my radio show, rootforamerica.com, and my email, wayneroot@gmail.com. The Root is on fire. First day of the new beginning for our podcast, which is now 1 hour with almost no commercial interruption, straight through, and starts at a new time, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. We'll be right back.
What would you say if we told you you could reverse most any ailment or symptom
without painful exercises in just 88 days? We have created the only patent-pending intercellular hydration protocol.
Don't miss your opportunity to feel better. We know there's a lot of false hope out there, and many people have bought programs that work for a moment, but life's a lot longer than a moment.
We have been helping people gain intercellular hydration for nearly 3 decades.
You will lose fat, not weight, fat. Fast, including that killer visceral fat. Chronic dehydration is one of the root causes of many ailments and symptoms. Ask your doctor about Energized Health. Don't miss your opportunity to transform your health now.
So log on to energizedhealth.com. That's energizedhealth.com.
Possible side effects may include increased joy, energy, potential reduction in prescriptions, more fulfilling relationships, fewer doctor visits, and overall improved quality of health and life.
Hi, this is Wayne Allyn. If you're sick and tired of supporting woke companies, I have great news for you. You don't have to anymore. You can shop where my family shops at GreatPatriotStore.com. My team researched thousands of companies for my best-selling book, The Great Patriot Boycott Book, and one stood out above all, GreatPatriotStore.com. This is the answer to inflation. Hundreds of household products that you're already buying. Much higher quality, no toxic chemicals, delivered right to your door at incredible prices. 20,000 American families are joining every month, and you should too. And now they've got the beef, pasture raised with no hormones, antibiotics, or mRNA ever, exclusively available only to their members. Like Costco or Sam's Club, you need to become a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. Fill out the form and they'll contact you right away. And boom, you're a member. For a limited time, the annual membership is $1. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. That's GreatPatriotStore.com. Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn, CEO, conservative TV and radio host, and best-selling author. I believe in America and American exceptionalism. America is now focused on energy independence. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far are estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, making it one of the largest natural gas discoveries in the Rocky Mountain region in the last 30 years. This is how we power the AI future of America with clean natural gas. Headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose previous public companies, Pinnacle Energy and Ultra Petroleum, delivered spectacular returns for investors. At its peak, a $10,000 investment in Ultra Petroleum turned into over $13 million. To learn more about this Lost Soldier oil and gas opportunity, go to LostSoldier.com. Fill out the contact form. That's LostSoldier.com. All right, big changes. Very hard for my voice. I got to tell you, to go an hour straight through with almost no ads and a very quick recovery break. My voice is not, I don't know if it's going to last, but I'm going to try. We're going to try. It's like, you know what you say to me, Pitar says, well, Wayne, calm down. Just talk at a lower level and don't be so excitable. First of all, that's me. That is me, and I don't want to not be me. And second of all, what else would make this podcast better than everybody else's? If I speak like everybody else, then I'm just another schmuck who's got no energy. Okay, there is no one else in the conservative world who has my personality and my energy and my passion. No one else. And that's what sets me apart from the crowd. And that's why in a month and a half, I'll be 65 years old, and I've got a new TV show. That's why I've got 2 TV shows and a podcast and a nationally syndicated radio show and best-selling books and a column read by now it's 11 million people in the last 3 years. That's why, because of my energy, No one else has it. My personality, no one else has it. So it's hard to go through an hour straight with almost no breaks of any kind. But that's the way people want their podcasts nowadays. That's what we're doing. And I think it's going to be a huge hit. And we're taking my new TV show called America Speaks. And in a matter of 24 to 48 hours, it'll now be a YouTube show and a Rumble show live. YouTube show and a Rumble show live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And then replayed on Real America's Voice at midnight every single night. Midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. A lot of names and times to remember. But I got a lot going on, man. But it's a whole new world out there. And we're kind of revamping everything we do. So this show is on Rumble. This show's on Gateway Pundit. This show's on Red Talk? I can't even remember anymore. Red Talk or Talk Red? I can't even. Talk Red. TalkRed.com. And, of course, my website, rootforamerica.com. And my podcast, this one will be live every day, like today, at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. And then my new show, America Talks, that is a midnight show on RAV, but it's now a live show starting in 24 to 48 hours on YouTube and Rumble at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. All right. Great guest, but I have to mention my advertiser first because, of course, they pay the bills, and we love them and appreciate them. This segment sponsored by Tangible Investments. How important is it to own gold? Well, China's central bank just increased their gold reserves for the 18th consecutive month. China's prepared for what's coming. And the million-dollar question is, are you? But buying gold alone is not enough. You need to buy it at the right price. And this is where buyers get misled. Other gold companies say we only charge 1% over cost. But whose cost are they talking about? See, words matter. And people can play games with words. The real question you need to ask is, what are you charging me over spot price? And then compare that answer to Tangible Investments. And by the way, let me mention, the time to buy gold is not when it's soaring, it's when it's falling. Now is the time to buy gold. Now is when I'm adding to all my gold collection. Because now you get a great price and you're averaging in a much lower price. Now, I've known the guys at Tangible for decades, literally decades. Tangible's been in business for more than 40 years, have handled more than $2 billion in transactions with gold, and their team brings over 200 combined years of experience. Right now, Tangible Investments is offering gold bullion at just 1% over spot. That's unheard of. And they offer silver as low as 3% over spot, unheard of. If you want gold and silver and precious metals or rare coins from a real firm with real credibility and honest pricing at the time where China has increased their gold reserves for a record 18 straight months, call Tangible Investments right now, toll free, 888-330-4351. That's 888-330-4351, or go to their website that they created just for my fans, rootforgold.com. Rootforgold.com. Tell them War sent you one more time, rootforgold.com, or toll free 888-330-4351. They're selling gold only 1% over spot, silver only 3% over spot, and all the rest of them are full of crap. Simple as that. All right, rootforgold.com. All right, Jeff Gunter's with us, our guest. And we got a little bit of time to ramble and rumble here. Unlike the old days, we're always rushing. Jeff Gunter's with us, candidate for Congress in Nevada CD3, and this is his last chance to be with us before the primary. The primary is tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're going to find out if Jeff has won, and he's the new candidate representing the Republican Party for CD3 against Susie Lee. He's the former U.S. ambassador to Iceland under President Trump, a NATO nation. Very important posting. Successful businessman and dermatologist specializing in skin cancer surgery. He's got clinics all over the Southwest United States. His website, drjeffgunter.com. drjeffgunter.com. Primary day in Nevada is tomorrow, June 9th. Big night. I'll be with you when the day is over. I'll be with Jeff at his campaign headquarters, looking at the final results, and hopefully we've got ourselves a big win.
Absolutely. Things are looking great and fantastic, and so honored to be with Wayne Allyn Rootski.
You didn't know that was
Wayne
my name, did you?
Allyn Ski Rootski. I love it.
I knew there was a reason I love to ski.
The only problem having Wayne Allyn Root at your events is the people who work there, the great servers, the great bartenders, they are freaking out because in the flesh, live, they're seeing Wayne Allyn Root. And I'm like, what am I, chopped liver? I mean, what's going on here? But Wayne, thank you for your support. You have such great following. I'm very excited for your new format. I really do believe that you are filling a void that was lost when we lost Rush Limbaugh. And you are actually filling that void. There's so many people out there. There's so many voices out there that want to be heard. And there's so many people that want to speak up. And God bless you for having the time and the ability to do that. It's really a tremendous, and I can tell you with my campaign, that's all I hear on the road is that you're endorsed by Wayne Allyn Root. We're following his top 10 reasons for supporting you, Jeff. So God bless you, Wayne. And more importantly, God bless all your viewers and your brave listeners who are willing to speak the truth. That's really what it is.
So you said I'm filling a void that was lost when, that was opened up when Rush Limbaugh died. You're filling a void because I'm going to bring you back to memory lane. It was a lot of years ago. I'm pretty sure the last time a Republican represented CD3 was John Porter. I'm almost certain that was the last guy. There may have been one guy since then who won one time and then he lost and nobody's ever won again. But I think it was John Porter who was the last guy to represent CD3. And so it's been a long time, even though the district is dead even, which means it's a real pickup opportunity for the Republican Party to pick up a House seat. It hasn't been represented by a Republican, I would guess, in 10 or 15 years. I don't know if you have any idea who was the last one or how many years it's been, but it's been a long time.
It's been way too long. And considering that this was a positive Trump district in 2024. So, you want to have representation that actually represents the people, your constituents. And that's not what's going on here in CD3. Think about it. My opponent, socialist Susie Lee, she voted against no tax on tips. She voted against no tax on overtime, and she voted against no tax on Social Security. It is mind-boggling, Wayne. Mind-boggling, completely out of it. And then you look at her rankings by the Heritage Foundation. This so-called representative, bipartisan, I don't really understand it. She is to the left of Bernie Sanders if you talk to the Heritage Foundation. Yeah. Completely out of touch. Busy doing her $3 million deals and insider trading type things. She's
very wealthy woman. She's a very wealthy woman. She's a very wealthy woman. She doesn't know anything about the lives of ordinary Las Vegans, nothing at all. And by the way, I'm the guy who I did the homework and came up with the research that proves that she is basically a communist because Heritage rates everyone from 0 to 100. How often you agree with conservative values at Heritage, mostly economic policies, but also other areas of conservative thought. And most of the Democrats are like at 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%. It shows you how pathetic they are. And then you've got like a Bernie Sanders who's consistently between like 10% and 15%, which is horrible. That means he's against us 90% of the time. But it's better than most of the other Democrats because he's okay on guns and a couple of other minor issues that involve civil rights. He's not that bad on some of those, but he's still a communist. He's the most left-wing member of the U.S. Senate. That's a fact. And calls himself a socialist. And Susie Lee's rating is often 0. And Lifetime, it's 2%. Far lower than anyone else I could find. She's got zeros year after year after year in each term, and overall 2%. She makes Bernie Sanders look like a raving Barry Goldwater conservative. Crazy.
Well, she's fighting it out with Fidel Castro, Mao Zedong, and Karl Marx.
Stalin.
They're gonna put them all in the octagon, and you're gonna see her competing with those three guys. The whole thing is just absolutely unreal. And the most important thing, though, is she does not represent the people of CD3 here in Nevada. She doesn't represent our values. She doesn't understand our beliefs. She hates America. And let's face it, anyone who votes against no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, and no tax on overtimes clearly doesn't like her state, but probably does like her portfolio. And but at the same time, I thought she was a communist. So pretty typical of the hardcore lefties. I'm sure that Karl Marx had a couple bucks on his way out the door. The same thing went with Mao Zedong, too. So she's hanging with them. She's hanging with them.
Here's what I want to get in, Jeff. Very important to talk about. California election. So the hallmark of communists, and it was Stalin who said, it doesn't matter how many people vote, it matters who counts the vote. And communists count the vote, and they rig the elections. Once they're in, you can never get rid of them. Because once they're in control, and you can't get at the wheels of power, and you can't count the votes, because they won't let you. That's what's happening in California now, and they're stealing it right in front of us. Spencer Pratt, it's already been stolen. It's over. He's already behind in last place. There's no possible way now he'll make the runoff because there's still like 150,000 votes left to count. All of them are mail-ins. They're all going to be left, and he's dead. He's going to be left in the rubble, even though he won on election night and he was in the runoff. Or I should say he came in second, but he made the runoff on election night. And I believe Steve Hilton's in the exact same shape. He's dead, a DOA, dead on arrival. He will be in the runoff, but it doesn't matter because when you add all the other guys together in the general election, he will lose like 55 to 35 or something like that. So what's the point of even running in a communist blue state? They've got everything rigged, and they're doing it right in front of our face because they have no shame.
Well, not only do they have no shame, but they actually follow the policies of Stalin. I agree with Stalin's comment. It doesn't make a difference who votes. It makes a difference who counts. The other part of that is that populations just want to know that there was an election. That's enough for them in the views of Joseph Stalin. So the fact that they do an election, even though it's completely rigged, even though it's completely fraudulent, it doesn't matter to them because they are basically communists and socialists. So the fact that they give the people an election, regardless of whether the results make a difference, is all that matters to so many people. And I hate to agree with Joseph Stalin, but that's the way it's looking. It's absolutely shameful. It's rigged. You cannot, succeed in California. And they do it shamelessly, just the same way they stole 2020 when they're walking in suitcases of ballots and broken toilets and all the shenanigans that Wayne, you so proudly and brilliantly called out when everyone was had this false sense of security with our election, And it wasn't 2,000 mules. It was probably 5,000 mules, is my guess.
It's so easy to see that elections are stolen. I like to use this example all the time. Jeff, if you were in a college class and a college professor said, I've just put in place new rules to make it literally impossible to cheat on my exams. And 1/3 of the class went wild and started throwing chairs and breaking windows and throwing pens at the teacher to take his eyes out and screaming, no, we can't allow it. Wouldn't you immediately know that those are the ones who are cheating on the exams? So when Democrats freak out because Trump simply wants voter ID so you can't vote 20 times, or you're not an illegal alien, or you're not dead, or you're not homeless with no address.
Or in prison, yeah.
Or in prison. And he simply wants you to prove you're a citizen, and he simply wants paper ballots so the election can't be hacked from outside the United States by our enemies. Democrats lose their minds and go insane and hire lawyers and teams of lawyers, armies of lawyers. That shows you they're stealing elections. It's that simple.
Oh, 100%. They rig elections. That's what they do. I think Joe Biden said it best, where he said we have the largest, what did he say, election
vote fraud in history.
In the history of America.
Right.
I mean, Joe Biden speaks the truth when he's halfway down that dementia road.
Yes.
So
from the mouth of dementia babes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And give a little ice cream, it gets even worse. So, I mean, these guys are just totally a joke. But that's why people are very excited, because just like you, Wayne, I'm perfectly comfortable calling these guys out and speaking the truth, because how much I love America, how much I love Nevada, and how much I see is at stake. And it's really at stake. We don't want to become the Communist Republic of California. I'm a refugee of those guys. I know how they work. I know how they operate. And it is just, it's unbelievable. And they just do it unabashedly. And for them, remember, the ends always justify the means. And, their idols are Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin.
Karl Marx and Joseph Stalin, yeah.
That's who they like. And
whoever ran East Germany.
They treat us like Stalin treats people too. They came after you viciously. They came after me as U.S. ambassador in Iceland viciously. For them, it's a blood sport. But that's the reason why they're not going to let Steve Hilton win in California either. because they know that if Steve Hilton wins, they go to jail, and they can't have that. And it's a miracle. It's a miracle that President Trump won in 2024, because they were probably just freaking out. And they still are. They're still playing their games. They're trying to run out the clock.
Jeff, that's why they can't take a chance on Spencer Pratt or Steve Hilton. They don't even want them in the runoff, because you just never know. Even though they think they have things rigged and locked up, they thought they had it locked up against Trump with Hillary in 2016. They thought they had it locked with Joe Biden after COVID in 2020. And of course, they did have it locked, but Trump really won that election. We all know that. So he beat them, even though he was, the media attacked him and they were cheating like crazy. He still won. And then they thought he was locked against either Biden or Kamala. They thought they had it rigged in 2024. So they can't take a chance that Pratt could be another Trump, or Hilton could be another Trump and pull off a miracle. So they don't even want them in the runoff. Listen, we got to run. Your election is tomorrow night, your primary. Jeff Gunter, Dr. Jeff Gunter, CD3, the only choice, endorsed by Wayne Root. Out of all the candidates in the United States of America, he's my favorite candidate. We got to get him in tomorrow. Tomorrow, when you go for Election Day voting, vote for Dr. Jeff Gunter, CD3, in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Wayne. Go, Gunter, go. Go, Gunter, go. Go, Gunter, go. Thanks for having me. God bless you, Wayne.
The Gunter is on fire. I'm Wayne Allyn Root, and we'll be right back for the last segment of the show. 18 straight minutes. We're doing it, man. You wanted less ads. We cut them by 8,000%. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn Root from Vertical Research Advisory, VRA, Kip Herridge's one-of-a-kind global investment and economic newsletter. Listen up. Trump is in charge. The glory days are here.
Growth rates are only going to grow from here.
This is your 4-year window to make a fortune and set up your retirement for the rest of your life. Kip wins whether the markets are up or down, whether the economy is up or down.
We set our folks up for long-term success.
For 21 years, Kip's been a friend, as well as my personal financial advisor. During that time, he's beaten the markets 86% of the time, while the average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90% of the time. Now Kip is predicting a new golden age for the economy. Let Kip prove it to you for free. Kip's offering his daily VRA investment letter completely free for 2 weeks. Free for 2 weeks. Try it for 2 weeks. I know you'll stay for life. Join now at VRAinsider.com. Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn Root, CEO, conservative TV and radio host, and best-selling author. I believe in America and American exceptionalism. America is now focused on energy independence. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far are estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, making it one of the largest natural gas discoveries in the Rocky Mountain region in the last 30 years. This is how we power the AI future of America, with clean natural gas. Headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose previous public companies, Pinnacle Energy and Ultra Petroleum, delivered spectacular returns for investors. At its peak, a $10,000 investment in Ultra Petroleum turned into over $13 million. To learn more about this Lost Soldier oil and gas opportunity, go to lostsoldier.com. Fill out the contact form. That's lostsoldier.com. Wayne Allyn Roots. We are back. This is the Warzone Live podcast, and we're the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. Great to be on earlier in the day now. And there's a couple of reasons we're taping early. Number one, we realize that people just are not around that late for my other podcast, which started at 6 o'clock. This one starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, East Coast time, and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, West Coast time. So we moved to a much earlier time slot, and also because we're filming my new show on Real America's Voice, which is called America Speaks, a call-in show. And by the way, if you want that call-in number so you could speak live to Wayne Root, let me find that number for you. I got to find it. Andrew, my executive producer, gave it to me. Here it is. Just for today, 631 309-2225, 631-309-2225, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So I'll go right from this show to a quick, 1 hour break, a little less than an hour, and then immediately start my new show, America Speaks. The number is 631, area code 309-2225. We're going to have a root number. We're waiting for the phone company to officially transfer it to us. Hopefully it'll be available tomorrow or the day after. It'll be available this week. We're almost certain this week. Hopefully tomorrow. But in the meantime, 631-309-2225. So just literally an hour from now, line up and you could be talking to me on the air. All right. So other news today I never got to. I better run through it quick. Rashida Tlaib forces a rare House procedure after a Republican, Max Miller of Ohio, accused her of defending terrorists. No surprise there. She's one of two. She's the only Palestinian American in Congress and one of two Muslim women in Congress. And she is certainly one of the most controversial members in Congress. And it turned into a giant debate on the House floor, and they had to stop the proceedings because she's a crazy woman, right? She's like the people in Hamas. They'll kill you. I'm telling you, don't put a hammer near her because she'll take someone's head off. She'll knock their brains out. Don't let her walk in with a gun. I hope you have gun detectors. Hope you have knife detectors because these are crazy people, right? I hope you know if they're carrying a suicide vest. Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. You think I'm kidding? I would not put it past them if they were kicked out of Congress on their last day to wear a suicide vest to Congress. That's how scary these people are. Crazy, crazy Muslim extremist nut jobs who literally are behind Muslim terrorism. Seattle mayor shrugs off millionaire tax concerns as 44% of business leaders consider leaving the state of Washington. Not just because Seattle is insane and they love homeless people and illegal aliens, but because the state of Washington has passed the first ever income tax. So for the history of Washington, the history of America, the state of Washington's had zero income tax. Now they've still got zero income tax, but they charge 9.9% tax on households earning over $1 million a year. So what does that mean? Well, if you make $200,000, you don't care. Make $100,000, you don't care. Make $500,000, you don't care. Make $700,000, you don't care. Make $900,000, you don't care. But if you make $1 million or more, you're going to move. Liberals are so dumb. How could they be this dumb? Of course, they would have been better off just doing like a flat 3% tax on everybody. Because when you tax only people making $1 million a year, every person who makes $1 million is going to leave your state. That's only natural. It's human nature. They're all going to leave, and they are all leaving. And guess who pays all the taxes? That group pays almost all the taxes in America, in any state. So when they leave, there's no one left to pay the bills. So who's going to pay for the poor people? Who's going to pay for schools? Who's going to pay for illegal aliens? Nobody. There is no one left. But again, Washington, Oregon, and California, like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, they're run 100% by Democrats. The entire congressional delegation is pretty much Democrats. Governors, all Democrats. Lieutenant governors, all Democrats. Nevada was going that way, my state. And something funny happened on the way to the guillotine. Something funny happened on the way to suicide, mass suicide in Nevada. We got a Republican governor 4 years ago and a Republican lieutenant governor 4 years ago. My friends, Joe Lombardo and Stavros Anthony. We got a Republican controller who watches the money, right? And we got a victory for President Trump 2 years ago. He won Nevada. And as you heard from Jeff Gunter moments ago, in CD3, which is represented by a liberal Susie Lee for many years now, Trump won CD3. He won it. So there's no reason why we aren't going to beat Susie Lee this year, because every year more and more Republicans move into move into Las Vegas from California. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. So confirmed. This is confirmed now. Governor Tim Walz and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison knew for 6 years of rampant Minnesota fraud, but said nothing in order to keep the Somali votes. A bombshell report released Monday by the House Committee on Oversight and the Government Reform Majority Staff concludes that Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison were repeatedly warned about widespread fraud in Minnesota's taxpayer-funded programs for years, yet failed to take meaningful action while billions of dollars were siphoned from government programs. They did nothing because the people doing the stealing vote Democrat and fund them, give their donations to Democrats. Do you understand that? Judge blocks Trump's $100,000 fee for HB1 visas. His $100,000 fee for HB1 visas is not legal, a federal judge said. Did you ever notice judges never come down on our side? It's always an emergency over something that we do, and it's to stop us from doing what we do. They never do anything to help middle-class people, ever. White people, ever. They never do anything to help small business owners, ever. Everything they do is to help big business and to help communists and to help people on welfare and illegal aliens. The nerve of Trump to demand a $100,000 fee for an HB1 visa. That's the way these crazy people think. This was just in yesterday. It says just in, but I downloaded it yesterday. 6 stabbed in a stabbing spree at New York's Penn Station ahead of the NBA Finals with Trump in attendance tonight. Trump will be in attendance tonight. 6 people injured in a stabbing spree at Penn Station. Famous place. Famous place. I was there many times taking a train to Long Island. I lived in Westchester, but I took trains to Long Island for business and for girlfriends and for everything I could think of. I took trains from Penn Station when I lived in New York City to go to Long Island. And this is what goes on in every blue city now. And you got to be crazy. Let me hold on. Let me read you my tweet about it just yesterday because I tweeted out about this. All right, so let's get it. Because it's really important to understand what you've got to do. Here it is. So, actually, there were a couple of tweets about this. One of them is actually a kid. There was a story out today about a kid in Pennsylvania. He goes to Penn State. He was going to be a senior. He was going to graduate this year and have his whole life in front of him. And he walked home from a party last night, or 2 nights ago in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. I don't think a bad neighborhood, and he was stabbed, killed. No, excuse me, shot. And I said, when will America finally say, I'm not going to take this anymore? Remember when in that movie, I think it was called Network, the people opened their window and said, I'm not going to take this anymore. There are only 2 choices. Number 1, get armed and fight back. Or number 2, run away from blue cities and blue states to places that have law and order, Republican judges, and are pro-police and pro-gun. That's your only choice in life. You cannot stay in these godforsaken liberal cities run by Democrats who are communists. You can't do it anymore. And that applies to New York City as well. It's a disaster. And the people who run the state are so weird and so freaky. Weird and freaky. Let me see. What did we find out today? Here it is. Democrat candidate for city council in New York was a squatter. They're running for office, and they used to live in someone else's apartment, and they refused to leave. This is the quality of candidates for the Democrat Party. They have illegal aliens, they have squatters, they have felons, they have scammers, and they got this guy in Maine with a Hitler tattoo. I mean, it's a Nazi tattoo. Nazi, Hitler, what's the difference? It's a Nazi tattoo across his chest, and they're making excuses for him. It's incredible. But this gal used to be a squatter, and she's running for office. I can't believe this stuff is possible. It just doesn't seem possible. Their candidates are all weirdos. Weirdos. Let's see what I said about it. Let me see. A large percentage of Democratic candidates appear to be disgusting, disgraceful, low-life pigs, common criminals, thieves, looters, illegal aliens, frauds, scammers, sexual deviants, the guy in Maine with a Nazi tattoo, and now squatters. These are their candidates. These aren't their voters, which should be bad enough. These are their candidates. Here's another winner. Democrat. I forgot to mention transgenders. Democrat running to replace Pelosi. So he's running in Pelosi's district in San Francisco. He opened women's prisons to transgender inmates and eased laws on sex offenders. Wow. What's this guy's name? Scott Wiener. Well, what a last name. It's a perfect name. He's a Wiener. He's not just another California Democrat running a deep blue district. He's one of the clearest examples of how far the modern Democrat Party, they say, has moved from ordinary American values. That's a nice way of putting it. See, I'm a blue-collar kid. I'm an SOB, son of a butcher. The way I talk is he's the perfect example, clearest example, Exhibit A of how the Democrat Party is a bunch of weirdos in the sewer, sucking on sewage. That's what they are. A bunch of weirdos. Bring me more sewage. Come on, I want more sewage. It's good. They're weirdos, man. Nazi tattoos. What kind of effing weirdo has a Nazi tattoo? So he led the primary field, right? Led the primary field, so he's going to, he'll automatically be the winner in the general election. The media will describe him in polite terms as a pro-housing lawmaker and an LGBTQ rights advocate. But he authored a bill, SB 145, can't hide from facts, that changed sex offender registration rules for certain adults convicted of sexual activity with minors when the age gap is within 10 years. Wow. He also authored SB 107, which made California a refugee state for minors seeking so-called gender-affirming care. And he also pushed SB 357, which repealed California's loitering law related to prostitution, making it harder for law enforcement to respond to prostitution and trafficking concerns in communities already struggling with these issues. On issue after issue, Weiner has used state power to advance the priorities of California's progressive activist class. Again, nice language. Communist class. Here's the squatter. Let's kind of get the squatter story, because I was reading you my response to it on Twitter. All right, the New York Post reports Democrat New York City councilwoman who's running for running for Congress. She's not running for council. She is a councilwoman, and she's running for Congress. Was a squatter in a Queens condominium. Julie Wan owes $25,000 in back rent after the condominium owner, who used to be a friend of hers, finally served her with eviction papers. Justin Che, the owner and top political consultant in New York City, finally forced Wan's family out of the condo. On Monday, Wan had been living in Skyline Towers despite asserting that she and her husband, Eugene, had never signed a lease agreement. He accused her of forging her name on a lease agreement, claiming her family was supposed to be allowed to live there indefinitely without paying any rent. I don't even want to read the rest. These are weird people. I've never been involved in anyone like that in my whole life. I've never been that person. I've never known those people. It's just weird, right? I mean, they're all fraudsters. Here's another example. Snap fraud bust hits multiple retailers. The Trump administration has initiated a welfare fraud crackdown in Ohio, implicating 20 retailers in the state. It's all about SNAP fraud, meaning food stamp fraud. The whole Democrat Party, Act Blue. Act Blue is all fraud. It's foreign money funding Democrat candidates. Democrats live on theft, stolen elections, stolen money, stolen taxpayer money, foreign money, rigged elections. Unbelievable. As I say goodnight, I want to mention Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. They are the sponsor of this show. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery in Wyoming. The first 40,000 feet drilled so far are estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, making it one of the largest natural gas discoveries. It says here in the Rocky Mountains in 30 years, but I had an interview with the CEO, Mark Bruner. He told me it's one of the largest discoveries ever in 100 years in the United States of America. Headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, previous companies grew 100 to 1 at Penteco Energy and 1,000 to 1 at Ultra Petroleum. If you invested 10,000 with Ultra Petroleum, it turned into $13 million. 10,000 turned into $13 million. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, go to lostsoldier.com. Fill out the contact form. They'll get right back to you. lostsoldier.com. Hope you appreciate the new start time, the new format, less ads, more Wayne Root, 54 minutes out of 60. Have a great night. God bless you. See you tomorrow. John Jubilee is with us, owner and founder of Energized Health, energizedhealth.com. Hey, John Jubilee, what's going on?
Hey, Mighty Wayne Allyn Root. Great to see you, brother.
All right, we got a quick video to play, and then we'll get to our conversation with John. So play the video.
I am tickled to death. I feel better than I have in years. I went from being on Ozempic for 13 years. I didn't realize how much strength I'd lost and how much it was affecting my life. I'd been in the hospital from pancreatitis caused by Ozempic. My digestive system's working properly again. I used to carry around Rolaids all the time. I can't believe I'm getting my life back after being subjected to that stuff for that many years. I'm off of it. I can't be happier. That was my biggest goal. You told me that you could help me, and you have.
All right. Johnny Jubilee, you've done a great job for all my fans. And the big issue now is so many people think they found this miracle drugs, or drugs, plural, because it's this entire range of GLP-1s, Ozempic, Mounjaro, many others. They become very popular. Why do you think they're popular? I think it's because it's like fast food, right? Nobody wants to put in any effort at all. They want to pop a pill, and they want to magically be thin. It doesn't work like that.
No, you're totally right, Wayne, and it really is. It is an actual epidemic. It is epidemic proportions. So listen to these numbers, Wayne. There's over 40 million Americans on it today. Another 30 million anticipated to get on in this next 12 months.
Wow.
So I love it, Wayne, that, as only you are a crusader of truth. You're a crusader of truth. And so I believe, Wayne, this show that we're going to talk about today will be something people can go back and say, I remember where I was on April 6th, 2026 on the Wayne Allyn Root Show. John and Wayne talked about this issue. And 24 months from now, Wayne, there'll be 70 million people shaking their head saying, I wish I would have listened, to what those guys say. And here's what I want to say about it, guys, is look, will you lose weight on Ozempic? Absolutely, you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose water. You're going to lose muscle. And you're going to lose some fat and some bone. And some bone. Yes, you're going to lose bone density. So this is real science. This is not my opinion. This is not Wayne's opinion. The scientific studies are already out. Ozempic has been around for decades. You just heard a gentleman, he's been on it for 13 years. By the way, he got fat. He gained 40 pounds of fat on Ozempic because it only works, guys, for the first year. And then you start gaining back all your fat, but you never gain back your water, and you never gain back your muscle, and you never gain back your bone. You are permanently harmed from doing these drugs. Even Oprah, Wayne, said it. She said, I did it for a year, and then I worked out and I ate the protein. I did everything they said to do, she said, and I still gained back all my fat. So it is not a long-term solution, guys. It is absolutely something that is super short-term. But Wayne, can I just say a gracious statement to everybody? Because listen, there may be hundreds of thousands of people watching us today. You're already on it. Listen, if you're on it, then guess what? You better give yourself a safety net. You better give yourself a safety net. And the perfect safety net is the Energized Health Protocol. Because why? Because we help you gain your hydration. Ozempic guarantees you're going to lose hydration. We guarantee you're going to gain it. They guarantee you're going to lose your muscle. We guarantee you're going to gain it. So you might as well protect yourself from the two guaranteed side effects, by the way. Now what they don't guarantee, Wayne, but they do warn people, like you just heard this gentleman, Robert, share, he did get the pancreatitis. You can get permanent blindness. You can get digestive disorders. Your stomach could be paralyzed forever. So there's a lot of other negative side effects that could come. But the two that are guaranteed, Energized Health, could come hand in hand. If you already are on the Ozempic and you're in your 1 year term of it, guys, give yourself a safety net to gain your healthy hydration, gain your muscle, and possibly offset your pancreatitis. You saw a client just now. He reversed his pancreatitis that Ozempic gave him. He reversed his digestive issues that he had to have the antacids all the time. So at least give yourself a safety net if you're one of those people who have chosen, I'm going to take the Ozempic, listen, we have grace for you guys. And obviously that guy joined Energized Health on Ozempic. He was already on it when he joined. But somebody must have told him, even if you're on Ozempic, these guys can help you better. And Wayne, we could share the other part of the testimony maybe next time we're on. He lost about 40 pounds of fat. on Energized Health, not on Ozempic. 13 years he couldn't lose it, but then he lost 40 pounds of fat and gained his muscle on Energized Health. But he did it while on Ozempic, guys, and then got off of it.
You know, I've always thought, John, that people that do too much aerobic exercise, like marathon runners, just look too skinny. It's not attractive for a man, as an example, to be super skinny. You have to do a little weightlifting, too. Muscle is just as important as aerobic. And as a matter of fact, I've seen study after study that shows that weightlifting actually helps you lose weight even more than aerobic activity in some cases. So I can't imagine what a person's life is like who has lost a large portion of their muscle density. They must look horrible with no clothes on. You know, maybe they look skinny with clothes compared to the way they used to be obese, but when you take the clothes off, they must look and feel awful, and it can't be good for you in life to be losing muscle. What does that do to you?
Yeah, well, Wayne, again, I can't even make this stuff up. But look, we have the internet. You guys could go look these up on Instagram or Facebook. Two phrases, Ozempic face and Ozempic butt. And again, remember, I want to quickly say, you know, I am sharing with you. I'm holding out my hand of saying, hey, join us like Robert did. If you're on Ozempic or you're thinking of going on it, come and join us. We will love to help you to not have the negative side effect, including Ozempic face, which is where your face ends up looking basically like a Halloween skull, or Ozempic butt, where it looks just like, you know, eight saggy butt things hanging there. You can see these pictures on the internet, Wayne. They're horrifying and mortifying to think that people look good in their clothes, but like you said, they take their clothes off and now they're just like this saggy, you know, sack of skin. They're just a saggy. Yeah, there you go.
Right? They look like skeletons. Scary. And I mean, I got to tell you guys, I'm not bragging because it's not me. I don't take the credit. It's John. I got on the Energized Health program and I look as good now as I looked since I'm in my 40s. I look much better than when I was 50 years old, which was 1 year before I was 49. And I look much better. And when I take my clothes off, I look like a football player. And that's from Energized Health. I gained muscle and I lost fat. I look great. These people look like skeletons. So I would say don't go on the Ozempic, don't go on the GLP-1s. But if you are on the GLP-1s, how does your Energized Health program help people who are on the GLP-1s, on the Ozempics, the Mounjaros? What does it do to you while you're on those things that are killing your muscle?
Well, Wayne, again, this client that you guys just saw, you heard him say it, 13 years he's on Ozempic. And again, we'll share it for you to hear. And in fact, if you guys call in, just ask for his video. It's about a 6 or 7 minute video. We'll send you the whole thing. And you can hear it out of his mouth. But while on Ozempic, he gained fat. But on Energized Health, he lost almost 40 pounds of fat and gained about 15 pounds of healthy, lean muscle and hydration while he was on Ozempic. So if you're on Ozempic, if you're thinking of going on it, listen, you can have what he had because we're transforming that body at the cellular level. And again, Wayne, I have nothing better to say to somebody than, look, here's a guy that was on it for 13 years, and he's still got the positive effect of an Energized Health protocol to gain his hydration, to gain his muscle. And I have to quickly say, Wayne, you are 100% right. 1 inch of muscle will eat more fat. 1 inch of lean muscle that you gain will eat more fat in 1 year than running guys for 5 miles a day. That's the power of 1 inch of lean muscle.
I'm the living proof. I'm Exhibit A for Energized Health. Changed my life, extended my career, and made me a lot of money by getting me a lot of new TV shows and podcasts at a very advanced age for TV biz. Go to EnergizedHealth.com. Say war for Wayne Allyn Root. Get 40% off. Do it now. EnergizedHealth.com. All right, Wayne Allyn Root. I am joined by Gordon Bond. What an honor. Owner of Bond Arms, one of the great gun manufacturers, all made in the USA, all made in Texas. His website is getbondarms.com. Gordon, what makes Bond Arms different from any other gun manufacturer?
Well, we when my brother started the company a long time ago, the regular Derringer, let me see if I can get it in the picture here, was basically known as a cheap, dangerous throwaway gun. This is a 1865 model. Derringers have been around forever. And what he did was take a dangerous gun and just made it very cool by better materials, trigger guard, interchangeable barrels, solid stainless steel. And Wayne, like you saw at the show, people love picking them up and just holding them. And it's just like, they pick it up and it's like, wow, this is like a real gun.
That's great. I saw it. My wife and I were at the show, and she's a gun aficionado even more than I am. And she said it was the best booth at the entire gun show out of thousands of booths was Gordon's booth, Bond Arms. To celebrate America's 250th anniversary, Bond Arms is releasing the American 250 edition handgun at a special price only for my fans. Tell us about it.
So one thing that we wanted to do, when I graduated in 1976, it was the bicentennial, and that's all they talked about all year long. And so when this 250th anniversary was coming up, we really wanted to do something special on this. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is the stainless steel version. It's 45 long Colt and 410 shotgun shell, very well built. I mean, our guns are built like a tank. People love the quality. They call it a hand cannon, best snake gun you've ever had. There's a beautiful side with the flag and the Liberty. And people just love the way that we do things. I mean, they'll come to our booth every year and just go, wow, what are y'all doing this year? You know, what crazy thing are you doing this year? So the American 250, we're really going to focus on that. We want to give everybody the opportunity to own a piece of history.
Gun. What a beautiful gun. What a gorgeous gun. The engravings. Wow. And I love that name, hand cannon. I want a hand cannon. Mine got delivered today. I'll have them for next week's show. My own personal hand cannon from Bond Arms. How do you get it? Go to getbondarms.com. See the number on the screen, getbondarms.com, or call 817-573-4445. See the disclaimer on the bottom of the screen for certain restrictions. Getbondarms.com. Gordon, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.